Hey, my sweet friends, welcome back to At Home with Gigi. I'm so happy to have you here. We're going to be creating a beautiful sign that's inspired by one that I saw on Etsy, but we're going to be making it for a fraction of the price. The link will be in the description box to the original sign. Now let's get started. For this project, we're going to be using one of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to be painting both sides with Waverly's chalk paint in the color Ivory. Once that's dry, I've gone ahead and taped off the top third of the wood round, and because I didn't have the exact color that I wanted, I mixed together the colors hazelnut and truffle from Waverly, and I just kept mixing it together until I got the color that I was looking for, and then I'm just going to go ahead and give it 2 coats. Thank you so much for choosing to click on my video today. I really appreciate it. I am almost to 3,000 subscribers. I have a goal to hit 3,000 by my birthday on August the 19th, which is coming up very, very soon. So if you're not subscribed, it would mean the world to me if you would hit that subscribe button and drop me a comment down below and say hello to me. I'm going to use what paint's left on the sponge, and I'm just going to very carefully go all the way around the outside edge of the sign. And I did get a little bit onto the white in a couple of spots, but I just took my baby white and just wiped it up, and it just came right off. I've gone ahead and taped off the bottom third of the wood round, and we're going to be adding a layer of Mod Podge because we're going to be decoupaging this beautiful leopard print napkin, and I just love these. I bought a big pack of them about 2 years ago from Hobby Lobby, and y'all, I still have so many of these things. It's crazy. But anyway, I love this napkin. It's so pretty. But once the Mod Podge has dried, I'm going to use the iron-on method to attach it. While the Mod Podge is drying, I went ahead and removed that second ply from the back of the napkin and cut off the bottom just to make it a little easier to handle. And I'm just taping it on each side to keep it in place. I want to keep my line as straight as possible across there. And we're going to be using the heat method or iron-on method to attach our napkin. And what that is, you're simply using heat to reactivate that Mod Podge, and it'll help that napkin to adhere to your surface, and the parchment paper over the top just helps to protect your napkin. I love this. This is my absolute favorite way to decoupage. It gives you a perfect finish almost every single time. And then I'm just going to go in with the nail file and just remove that excess napkin. I'm going to use a ribbon to help camouflage where the napkin and the paint meet, and the first one that we're going to be using is this lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Just making sure that I've got my placement just right, and then I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to attach it to the back. And y'all, with this being lace ribbon, just be careful you don't burn your fingers. I'm trying to remember to use my little spatula there. Sometimes I remember, sometimes not. Because this is lace and I was afraid the hot glue might show through, I had originally planned just to put little dots all the way across and just very gently, as you can see, tap it so the glue wouldn't come through the lace. But as I got to looking at it, the lace wasn't laying down exactly right. So I decided to go back and just put just a tiny line all the way across, and then again just very, very lightly tap it into place. Next, we're going to be adding in this black faux leather ribbon, and this came from Walmart. I got it during Valentine's Day, and it has these really pretty brass or gold looking hearts on the front of it, and I just thought it was just a perfect touch for this. I've never gotten the chance to use it, and y'all, I'm using everything that I had on hand because it's been raining so much here. I have not been able to get out of the house for forever. But anywho, I'm just hot gluing it along the top. I really wish that I had brought it up just a tiny bit more to help cover up that seam a little bit more where the lace and the paint is meeting, but oh well, I didn't, so it is what it is. But I love this. I think it's so pretty. The lace and the faux leather look and the brass hearts is just so pretty to me. We're going to be adding the word blessed to the center part of our sign. And y'all, I cannot remember where this came from. Again, I've had it in my stash for so long. but I believe it was Hobby Lobby. Might have been Michael's, but I believe Hobby Lobby. But anyway, I'm going to be using a baby wipe to apply the paint. This is some paint left over from another project. I believe I had mixed together truffle and ink from Waverly. And as you can see, it's quite dark, and I was hoping that the baby wipe might not make it quite so dark, but it's still pretty dark. When it dried, it was lighter, but it was still pretty dark. And then when I added it to the sign, it was just way too much brown. I'm like, no, it needs something else. So I'm going to use pumpkin from Waverly as well. And again, using a baby wipe, I'm just going over it. I went over the letters about 2 times, I believe, maybe 3. Layering the orange over the brown gave it this burnt orange color, and I absolutely love it. And I think it just was the extra pop of color this sign needed. And once it had dried completely, I'm going to be using a combination of E6000 and hot glue to attach the word. We're going to make a quick and easy bow just using ribbon that I already had on hand. Some of it came from Walmart, some of it from the Dollar Tree, and the leopard print came from Amazon. But y'all, I switched that up a little bit. I don't use that, and I only end up using one of the black and gold or black and tan ribbon or strips there. I only use one of those. This is just such an easy bow to make. It's just so simple. And as I get older, my fingers don't work quite as well as they used to. So anything that's simple and easy when it comes to bow making, I am all for it. A little trick if you need help with holding your ribbon, use your easy bow maker if you have one. I love to use it like this. It really helps with my fingers. But anyways, you see I'm just pinching it there in the center, and I'm crisscrossing the tails that I have already made and then the piece of ribbon that I've hot glued together. You can see what I'm doing here on screen, and I'm just alternating. I put a tail down, the loop that I've made, and then another tail, and then I'll come back with the same color loop, pinch it in the center. I've already bent them to find my centers, and then just crisscross them all the way up. My original plan was just to add in the 2 strips of this mesh ribbon. It's from Dollar Tree, by the way, and just use it for filler. And as I'm placing in this brown and tan ribbon, I'm just like, I don't know about the leopard print. It just does not seem to go well with the rest of the ribbon or the project. So I decided to just take another strip of the mesh. I just kind of folded it over on itself because it's too thin to try and hot glue, pinched it in the center, and just popped it right there in the center with 2 more strips of the mesh for tails. And I love it. I think it is just so cute, and I think that was the better route to go. Y'all, full disclosure, this is my second bow to make for this project. And another thing I'm switching out, I decided, because the bow was so thick, I decided to use a zip tie instead of twine to cinch it in the center. That way I could have a little bit better control and just make sure my strips of ribbon was just where I wanted them to, and then I could just finish cinching it in and get it really, really tight and snug, a lot more snug than I would be able to with twine. We're going to be using one of these little wooden hearts, and this is from the Dollar Tree, and I've had the honey drill a little tiny hole in the center for me, and I've given it a coat of Mod Podge front and back, and we're going to be decoupaging another piece of this napkin onto the heart. I'm just going to trim the napkin down to make it a little more manageable and just kind of figure out what section of the napkin I want to use. I want to get as much of that pretty leopard print on there as I possibly can. And I'm just going to kind of speed through this next part because I'm just repeating the exact same process that I did with the napkin on the wood round. And by the way, I did add the napkin to both sides of the heart. That way you could see the leopard print on each side. To reopen the hole, I'm just using a very large needle, just kind of working it around to reopen it enough to where I can run this twine through it. And I think this came from Walmart, y'all. I've had it for so long, I'm not even sure. But we're going to attach this to our bow. I'm going to tape the two ends together with just a tiny piece of clear tape. It'll help it go through the beads a little bit easier. Y'all know I got to have some beads somewhere in my project, right? And like I always tell you, I paint extra beads and keep them on hand just for little projects like this. And I'm just tying a little tiny knot just above the heart. I don't want the beads to sit right down on top of the heart. I want them to be just above them. And I'm just tying that little knot, and then when I add my first bead, after I get it on there, I'm going to add a little drop of hot glue just to keep that bead in place. Before the hot glue has time to set up, I'm just going to very gently push that bead down over the knot, and then when the hot glue hardens, it will hold the bead in place and keep that knot hidden. I'm going to go ahead and add the other two beads. Now, I did not leave myself enough length on the twine, so I'm going to have to be careful whenever I hot glue it to the bow. And I'm going to hot glue it to the very, very top of the bow, and then just use my little tool and just hold it and kind of tap it into place. Make sure it sets up, because I want this to loop around and cover up that zip tie in the center. I'm only able to get it around 1.5 times, but I made it work. I'm adding a little more hot glue there at the top, and then bringing the twine back up, holding it in place, and then coming down and adding just a tiny bit here. I mean, really just a tiny bit, because if you're not careful, you'll have a hot glue goopy mess. All that's left to do is to add a big old dab of hot glue and pop this bow in place. And yes, I know it's a little bit wild, a little bit crazy, a whole lot big, but I am just in love with it. Once it's all fluffed out and arranged, y'all, it is just beautiful. Y'all got to tell me what your thoughts are about it, and if you've enjoyed my video, thank you again for being here. I truly appreciate it. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed, I hope that you will hit that subscribe button. I am trying my best to get to 3,000, my goal for my birthday, which is August the 19th. And again, if you do subscribe, I truly appreciate it. If you're already subscribed, thank you from the bottom of my heart for returning each week and being here with me, and I'll see you soon.